So, Slick, are the Suns a legit threat to dethrone the Warriors in the West?
Absolutely, they are threats to dethrone the Golden State Warriors, especially if Devin Booker and Chris Paul have learned a lesson about clowning superstars midway through a series. I know, Marcellus, it's usually your avenue to be quoting lyrics, but with all due respect to Jim Croce, you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't stare into a bazooka, you don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Luka. That was the mistake that Chris Paul and Devin Booker made, that they decided that they were going to rattle the cage of Luka Doncic and ask the best out of him, and they got it. And look, they're not the first to do it. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade did the same thing with Dirk Nowitzki. You remember the I'm sick thing in the finals. And how did that ultimately end up? So it happens. But this was a 64-win team. Yes, JaVale McGee, they might miss him a little bit coming off of the bench, but ultimately, I love where this team is. Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, those are all, Cam Johnson, those are all players that are going to get better. Dario Saric is going to be part of the equation, presumably this season. So I have every reason to believe that the Suns, are they the only threat? No. I really like the Memphis Grizzlies, but are they a threat? They have to be considered a threat now that DeAndre Ayton is going to be back in the fold.
Slick, great job, great presentation. I disagree, but I loved it nonetheless. The Suns may be a threat, but they're not a legit threat. And I love what you said. I focused on two words to me that truly maybe dismembered your argument. You said, especially if. And the problem is the Suns are depending upon an if that will never turn into a fact. Especially if Chris Paul, especially if Devin Booker. What I've learned is Devin Booker likely at this junction in time is not going to materialize into Kobe Bryant. That's no slight. Kobe Bryant's a top 10 player of all time. I just do not see Devin Booker materializing into that player. What I've also had the sober realization of understanding is Chris Paul is not going to be who we want him to be. And that is a champion. Slick, as you start to look at what has happened with the Phoenix Suns, we have to realize a lot of it is fault of Chris Paul. Like, let's remember, Chris Paul starts to wane as series go longer. Think about it not just in this playoff, but in the playoffs the year before. Chris Paul was going to give you one 30-point game a series, literally like clockwork, and that was going to be it. Chris Paul's point-per-game average last year from series to series to series went down. Then think about this year. Chris Paul quite literally became a liability. We started to wonder, were they going to bench Chris Paul for campaign? And if not, why not? So I don't think the Suns are a legitimate threat because the Suns' problems come from within. I think if Chris Paul were a champion, we would have seen it by now. This is no slight. I just vividly remember in Slick, you may have been on the show. Somebody put out, man, Chris Paul deserves a chip. And another NBA player responded, why? Nobody deserves a championship. You work, you earn, and you win one. You don't deserve one because of good behavior, because you're a nice guy, because you got good commercials. I love Chris Paul as a hooper, top 5 point guard of all time, many would say. But the problems with the Suns come from within, and I just don't think they are a legit threat to beat the Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think they're a legit threat either. I think they're going to hover around in contention, but they're going to be a tough out, and they won't get to that top tier in terms of contenders. Clippers are coming. I mean, they're deep, they're talented, they're top-heavy, they're ready if they stay healthy. LeBron James, AD, whatever Russell Westbrook can contribute in the starting lineup with the new direction, that's going to be more potent than what we've seen in the playoffs from these Phoenix Suns, especially last year. I know they were in the finals a couple years ago, but we saw it last year. Chris Paul played the most minutes he's played in the last 6 years. And then against the Mavericks, when they needed Booker the most, Game 6 and Game 7, woo, not good. 19 points, 11 points, 35% shooting, 21% shooting. So there's some humps they have to get over internally, let alone the competition should be stiffer externally. It's going to be a tough road ahead for these Phoenix Suns. But if you look at the situation for what it is, I hear you over there, Slick. I hear what you're saying. The Phoenix Suns, I don't think they're even committed to their plan just yet. To dangle Deandre Ayton into a position where you have to match the offer sheet of Indiana, I don't think that's going to return great benefits to this organization in terms of human capital and buy-in. That's an interesting play right there to say, oh, we have a championship-ready roster now because we kept him, but we were thinking about letting him go. That's hard to reconcile, especially with the ego of a star player.
I get that, but I will also say they got through last year and won 64 games with Deandre Ayton wondering whether he was going to get paid or not and who it was going to get paid by, and having had the Suns basically tell him, you're going to have to wait to get paid. But I can't believe. I don't need solo here. I need both. I need both my boys out here with me. It was just a day ago, if I'm not mistaken. And let me preface it. Which team would you rather have right now, the Phoenix Suns or the Los Angeles Lakers?
Lakers.
I'll say Suns.
You say it with your chest, though.
And you're lying, Marcellus Wiley. You are lying.
LeBron? LeBron?
Here's the question. Okay, but you're giving me, just 24 hours ago, I believe, you both were giving me all this optimism about how they could win another title. If LeBron stays healthy, if Anthony Davis is healthy, if Russell Westbrook's on the page, if Darvin Ham becomes Ime Udoka.
Yes,
the optimism that you guys were expressing was it was a tidal wave. I felt like I was having a show with Tony Robbins times 2. So now we're talking about the Phoenix Suns, and it's like, Chris Paul can't do it. Devin Booker at 25 can't mature. Like, they can't get over the hump. I have plenty of more reasons to be optimistic about the Phoenix Suns as a threat. I'm not even saying win it all. Simply a threat to knock off the Golden State Warriors than I do the Los Angeles Lakers. So I will hand it over to you, because I think there's a little bit of explaining that needs to be done. How you could be so optimistic about the Los Angeles Lakers yesterday and so pessimistic about the Phoenix Suns today.
I got you, Slick. I got you. Slick, every time track and field, maybe former phenom, depending on how you look at her, Sha'Carri Richardson takes the blocks, you hold your breath, because you know what she's capable of. Every time at a championship meet, she lets you down, but you hold your breath nonetheless because you have seen her run incredibly fast, a collegiate record, a top 10 time of all time, so you know what she's capable of. I know what LeBron and AD are capable of because I've seen them do it. So I know that if they are healthy, I know exactly what they're capable of. But the Suns, they ain't really capable of all that much to me. Yeah, they went to the NBA Finals, but Giannis'd them. Last year, Mavericks, no good. You let young Luka, do this to y'all single-handedly. So the reason I have more faith in the Lakers is simply because I know what they're capable of. So they might let me down like Sha'Carri Richardson has at every major meet, but I'm still going to watch. And I'm still going to hold my breath. In the event she puts it all together, and in the event the Lakers stay healthy, it's going to be championships, baby.
Yeah, because we've seen it more recently at championship than with this Phoenix Suns roster. Like, they got to the championship and lost. And to me, that's the difference maker if you want to even talk about the Lakers versus the Suns. You say Bron, AD, Russ, think what you want of them. But then you say CP3, Booker, and Ayton, they've accomplished less than what the Lakers have recently. So now with a lower...
No. Not Russ, AD, and LeBron.
I'm talking...
No.
With Russ is the additive. First of all, Russ and Ayton, I take Ayton. But are you going to take CP3 and Booker over LeBron and AD healthy? No, because that has not manifested into a championship yet. At least LeBron and AD has, correct?
But all I'm saying is, if we're gonna say which group has accomplished more recently, you have to say the Phoenix Suns, because this this is not anywhere close to the same Lakers team that won the championship in the bubble. The only thing that is
the
same
is
LeBron and AD. And you could make the case that they're not the same because it's 3 years later. And they're at a point in their careers where that matters.
LeBron's averages were higher last year than they were when he won the championship. The ageless wonder is still
scoring average. His scoring average.
I don't know how else you win games, but outscoring the opponents. But the point is...
Well, but they didn't win games with him scoring more.
Because they weren't healthy last year. You're making my point for me. Keep talking, Slick. Here's the thing. All I'm asking is for things to be equal in this hypothetical, which is healthy. But we saw Chris Paul playing the most minutes he's played in the last 6 years, struggle in the playoffs in general, and then really struggle against the Mavericks. We saw Devin Booker, who was a tremendous player all year long, all of a sudden, game 6, game 7, Booker, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Those things happened, and they happened recently without a championship to fall back on like the Lakers have in LeBron and AD. That's the simple conversation, but off air, but Slick, let's keep this going. I like that. Coming up.